Hello there, I'm Kenobi,
And I'm Jeff.
and welcome to another episode of You Underestimate My Podcast.
Sorry we couldn't release an episode last week. We had some technical difficulties.
So this week we'll be talking about Rings of Power episode 4 and 5 and Andor episodes 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
So what did you think of Rings of Power?
Well, both episodes were pretty good. I liked episode 5 a lot. What did you think?
I thought Rings of Power episodes 4 and 5 were good. There wasn't a lot of action in them. I saw, but it was mostly planning for like later episodes. I really thought in episode 5 that like we would go to Middle Earth with all of them. I wish we saw that, and now in episode 6, I bet we're gonna see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So episode 4 was... So at the end of episode 3, we saw Arondir being taken to Adar. What the orcs call him Adar, which means father in Sindarin. And then at the beginning of episode, or not the exact beginning, but like early in the episode, we get to see him. What did you think of that?
I thought, well, he looks like a human, and I see his ears, and they look like elf ears.
Yeah, he's an elf, but I don't know, he's like twisted and evil, but I think, well, have you seen his chest plate? He has this cool black chest plate that has these like engravings on it.
Yeah.
And Gil-galad, the elf king, has the same chest plate except for gold. It's the same except it's gold.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and then I was holding my breath that scene when at the beginning Arondir and Adar, that was just so tense.
Yeah.
I was holding my breath most of that time. So what did you think about episode 4?
Episode 4, I thought was good. Once again, not a lot of action.
Yeah.
But one thing about episode 5 was, you know how that one guy from the tower said, "Are you Sauron?" And then he got slapped. Do you remember that scene?
Oh yeah, wall drag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what that was about.
Yeah. So, he could be Sauron, and maybe he doesn't want anyone to know his identity, or he doesn't want to be mistaken as Sauron because he doesn't like Sauron.
Yeah.
Or maybe he works for Sauron and he thinks that if someone thinks he's Sauron, then he'll get in trouble with Sauron. Like he could be like anyone. He could be Sauron. He could be the mouth of Sauron. He could be the Witch King. He could also be someone totally new, but who wasn't in the books at all. But yeah. I wonder if we're gonna find out this season at all who he is.
I think like I think that would be an amazing cliffhanger for end of season 1 and going into season 2.
Yeah. And so he's the creator of orcs, and we know he's old to have created orcs.
Yeah.
Because also he's not a full elf anymore either. He's like part orc, because like do you see those scars on the side of his head?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is like got twisted and all that too. So yeah.
Oh.
What did you think of the whole Numenor storyline from episode 4?
I thought, I'm trying to remember what happened in episode 4.
That was when Galadriel got thrown in jail, and then...
Oh, yeah.
And then Isildur got kicked off the ski guard.
Yeah, I thought that episode, like I said with episode 5, it's not a lot of action, but I think that's gotta happen when they go to Middle Earth, which we saw in the end of episode 5, the ships going away.
And so I was doing some research recently, and I found this character from Tolkien's writing. So he was in the Silmarillion or something like that. And his name is Ar-Pharazôn, and he's the last king of Numenor. He's the same person as Pharazôn, the advisor in this. And he gets corrupted by Sauron. So I don't know if that means he's a Nazgul, because he's a king, and Sauron corrupted a bunch of kings. So he is not a good person. Which I think we can already tell. But yeah. But and then Khazad-dûm, Khazad-dûm, they're building. Elrond gets the help from the dwarves to build the thing. So, what were your thoughts on that? Like that whole story from episode 4.
From episode 4,
yeah, with the Mithril.
Well, what I can say about episode 5 is, can't really remember episode 4, but episode 5, I remember, they need that special material from when the tree was struck by lightning.
Yeah, Mithril.
Yeah, they need that, so, for the tree, which I thought, I think they're crowding too much into Ring's power. They have, them going to Middle Earth. That's, the Ore storyline, the Harefoots, and the Tower. That's a lot to keep track of in a series that we're only getting 8 episodes for the season, and then we're getting more seasons later on.
Yeah. But the Mithril is super important, because that's what a ton of stuff is made out of, because it's really hard and it's also really light. So it's pretty much
for armor.
it's like the vibranium of the Lord of the Rings world. But that's what Bilbo's armor is made out of, and he gave it to Frodo, and then Frodo got stabbed, and that's how he didn't die in the Fellowship.
Didn't he get stabbed twice in the Fellowship of the Rings?
Yeah, one time he got stabbed by a Nazgul with a Morgul blade, which is the one that Theo has. And then he gets taken to Rivendell, and Bilbo gives him the chainmail thing, and then he gets stabbed in Moria, and
he gets stabbed so many times.
Yeah. But I thought it was cool to see the dwarf, all the dwarf stuff, because all we got to see of it before was just the small bit that we saw in The Hobbit with the Misty Mountain, or the Lonely Mountain. And then we got to see Moria abandoned in Lord of the Rings. So I like seeing all this dwarf stuff. And the dwarf guards, those soldiers, they have really strange helmets.
Yeah, those helmets, they kind of remind me of a little bit of Mandalorian, but like the weird faces. It's like, I think with the helmet, it's combined of the actual dwarf face and a Mandalorian helmet put together.
Yeah,
that's what I think of it.
Yeah. And then near the end of the episode, 48 minutes and 40 seconds in, when Theo is sneaking around the village full of orcs, and then Arondir comes and saves him.
Yeah.
And they're running away. That scene where they're running reminds me of the scene from the Fellowship of the Ring, where after they leave Lothlorien, and like when Boromir gets killed, it reminds me of that part. Yeah.
Is that it for Rings of Power?
Well, that was only episode 4. But episode 5, finally, we got to see that creepy guy in the white hood. I've seen him in tons of the trailers, and he looks very evil, and so we know he's working for Sauron. Or is he Sauron? Like, he might be Sauron, or maybe he's Saruman. He looks sort of like Saruman, but younger, without the beard. But I guess he's tracking the stranger. So, wonder how the Harfoots are gonna deal with that if he finds them.
There's a theory that I heard, there's a theory going around that the stranger is Gandalf's father. Which, it could be true, because that either could be Gandalf or Gandalf's father, or completely another person, because Gandalf is like 1,000 years old or something.
Yeah, he's like a minor god. So he's really old. But if that was Gandalf, it would explain why he likes hobbits so much.
Like smaller people.
Yeah. And then in episode 5, we also have that one great scene with Galadriel fighting all of the people who are going to Middle Earth.
That was an amazing scene.
That was my favorite scene of the show so far, and it had great music going with it.
What makes this show great is 100% the music.
Yeah, it's a ton of other things
action,
too, but yeah, this music is great.
Yeah, live action shows, music, 100% make it better.
Yeah. What did you think of episode 5?
I thought, again, like episode 4 and 5, no action, which is fine. It develops a story, and like I was saying before, there's so many stuff going on for this show. Harfoots, the orcs and the tower, Middle Earth. What else?
Yeah.
I think I'm missing something.
Numenor.
Yeah, Middle Earth, like Numenor.
But I think this season they just have to get everything like set up for like introduce all the stuff for next season.
When is next season coming out?
No idea. Probably in about like a year.
Yeah, and the first season of Rings of Power kind of reminds me of the first season of The Bad Batch. How it's just like everything is getting started. They're making their way through characters, developing what's going to happen in the second season. Because in The Bad Batch, now they know what they're doing. In the first season, they didn't know what they're doing. In the second season, they know exactly what they're doing. They're fighting the Empire.
Yeah. But by season 2. By season 2, I think it's gonna get all started. Because, yeah, like you said, they have to introduce everything and develop the characters. But, yes, but season 2 is gonna be like a jump in time. So, like, each season is in a different time, so they're jumping, I don't know how many years into the future, but, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Meteor Man was in next season too. I mean, he probably will be. Because... Yeah, the Stranger, because, he's obviously playing a big part in this season. So I hope, my hope for this season is that all the characters meet around, I don't know, some maybe like the tower, maybe the orcs siege the elf watchtower, and then the Numenorians and Galadriel and Halbrand come to save them, and then the Harfoots come or something, and then we get a big reveal with the Stranger, and then the creepy white hooded guy comes because he's tracking the Stranger, and then I don't know, but I hope it's something like that.
Something like I want it to be a good ending.
Yes.
Well,
I think they should make it a cliffhanger because that will
obviously,
because then everyone will watch season 2. Of course, I'll watch it anyway, but yeah,
it's gotta be less exciting going into the second season if there's no cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. So, is that all for Rings of Power?
I think it is.
Okay, so now to Andor. We got 3 episodes released, and then, a few weeks ago, we got, there was a huge premiere where they released 4 episodes, but I didn't see that, so I only saw the 3. What did you think of it?
Andor, I thought it was, like I've been saying, like I've been telling everybody, it was slow. It was not second episode. I don't think even they could have made it an 11 episode show. It just didn't have the second episode. The second episode, I thought they didn't need. It didn't explain. It's explained a tiny bit, but it didn't explain a lot.
Yeah. But episode 3 is like, it was pretty good. I liked it, and I think they have it all set up for the rest. So that's because he meets the other guy, and they leave the planet. So they've got that all set up. Episode 1 wasn't great, but I mean, it wasn't the best, but first episodes rarely are the best. Like the Moon Knight show, I was excited for that for a long time. When the first episode came out, I wasn't too thrilled, but then it got really good.
Yeah, for Andor, I thought it was flashback scenes I didn't really get. And one thing I'm kind of upset about is in Rogue One, it said, Cassian said he's been in this fight since he was 6 years old. And in flashbacks, he looked 10 years old. He did not look 6 years old.
Yeah.
Which that kind of breaks canon.
Yeah, maybe he, I don't know, maybe stuff like that had happened to him when he was 6 too, and then he just didn't get taken by those two people. But I like his droid. B2EMO, I think his name is.
Or nickname B.
Yeah. Well, it's not his droid, it's his mom's droid, or like the lady that kidnapped him, basically. But he was really cool, except it kind of felt like they were trying to copy Dio from Rise of Skywalker with the stutter that he has.
I think he reminds me of Dio and R2-D2 combined.
Yeah.
Which those droids, R2-D2 is better than Dio, but I do like both of those droids. And I think I want to see Dio and other, like, I want to explore more about her Rey's parents, like, clone.
Yeah.
And that Jedi that killed Rey's parents. I want to see more on that, and then we can see a Dio in that show.
Yeah. And also, what you were saying about Rey's parents, they were killed by, his name is Ochi of Bestoon, and he's a Sith assassin, and when I watched The Rise of Skywalker, I hadn't read any of the comics, so I didn't really know who they were talking about. But then, now that I've read the comics, and then I rewatched it recently, and then Ochi of Bestoon, I found out was in it, and that was really exciting, because he's cool in the comics, and he's actually fought Darth Vader before.
So, more about Andor. I thought Cassian's home planet was... Have we seen his home planet before? In Star Wars?
I don't think so.
I mean, there's a lot of planets, and there are a lot of comics and books.
I might have to rewatch Rogue One to see if he says anything about that.
Yeah, and his home planet, like, there's like there's no adults in this tribe of his. It's just a bunch of kids roaming Cassian's home planet, and it's really interesting how they survive on their own.
Yeah. What did you think of the I think they were called Premor or something?
Oh, the guards.
Yeah.
I thought they were interesting. I thought they were more like stormtroopers-ish, except better on. They have no helmet and their armor is colors, but I would say they're worse than the stormtroopers.
Yeah. I felt like they could have just put stormtroopers in there, but maybe they didn't want to for some reason. I guess maybe it has something to do with the plot later, but the guy, Cyril Karn, the deputy inspector guy, I know he has a big part in this. So I don't know if he looks like he's gonna turn good.
Well, I think he either is gonna turn good, or he's gonna continue to turn bad and hunt Cassian.
Yeah.
Cassian.
But he, I don't know which part this was at, but, at some part into it, I think someone got killed, and then he looked, like, absolutely mortified by it. Like, he never actually had seen any action, and he's never been out in the field before, so he, like, wasn't prepared for that at all.
Yeah, I thought it was weird how he, like, 2 guards are dead, and, like, he really wanted to find the killer. Like, if that was the Empire and 2 officers were killed, the Empire wouldn't really care. But
yeah,
he really cared for some reason, and I thought that was weird because he wanted to find the killer so bad that he would risk even more guards being killed just to find the killer and maybe him getting away.
Yeah, I think he's like new to the company or something, so he doesn't really like, he thinks that every little thing that happens like that is important, whereas the chief inspector guy didn't seem to care at all. But he I don't know, I think he will probably turn good.
I think he might. I think he's gonna report back to the Empire. Because I don't think the Empire would allow, like, this small group of guards to patrol this planet, without their knowing. So I think he's gonna report to the Empire that, someone by the name Cassian Andor has killed our guards.
Yeah. And it said at the very beginning, when he's walking down that bridge thing in the rain, it said that it was 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. So that's like that's not long before he dies. So he has like 4.5 years left until he dies.
Or just about, like, 5 years, because at the end of the Rogue One
is right when
it leads into A New Hope.
Yeah.
That's
but
0 BB.
Yeah. So he's not gonna be alive for a ton longer, so.
But then it's weird how there's gonna be like 3 seasons of Andor, and in season 2 or 3, they're gonna be each, like, 3 episodes each. Each 3 episodes, there's going to be a year. So I don't know how they're going to do that because this show is 100% leading into Rogue One.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe the very last episode of the very last season, like the very last tiny bit, it shows him walking down that place and going down that alley to meet that contact guy.
Yeah, in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most likely person that wasn't in the trailer we will see is Director Krennic.
Yes. And I know K2SO is going to be in it. I just don't know if he's going to be in season 1.
He's going to be in the 2nd season.
Yeah.
Or 3rd. Wait, no. 2nd season.
Yeah, K2SO is my favorite droid in all of Star Wars, so I think it's going to be great to see him again.
I think, what else do we have to talk about for Andor? There's not much about Star Wars in Andor. It was mostly just like the only really Star Wars thing in there was the Empire and Cassian.
Yeah.
So it felt more. This show felt so much more dark than Kenobi. Kenobi was Disney childish.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leia outrunning like grown men. That's just weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think so. Obviously, people have already seen episode 4, but I haven't, and you haven't.
Some people haven't. It was only for like reviewers. Reviewers got to see episodes 1 through 4 for reviewing, which we should have got episodes 1 through 4 because we were reviewing it.
And then, so we haven't seen episode 4, but we will see it, week, and then, yeah. Is that all for today?
I think it is. There wasn't that much Star Wars stuff to talk about anymore.
Yeah, so, okay, are we gonna get out of here?
Yes.
Okay, thanks for listening to this episode, and if you liked it, just rate, review, and subscribe to it. Give us a 5-star review, and tell your friends about it too.
Mm-hmm.
And then next episode, we will be talking about episode 6 of Rings of Power and episode 4 of Andor.
And maybe something else.
And maybe something else, yes. But, until then, I think that's all.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening.